Hello! We're back here in Finland for the Finnish Brutality 2022. Let's check some of the gear that we will be using. If you haven't noticed, this is summer in Finland. That means that at least for the next 2 days you're not expecting snow. Hopefully this year. Jari was very creative and he came up with a new brutality category, RECON division. So I'm already shooting in armored, the TST, which means that I have to have the minimum of 12 kilos of gear with water, ammo, everything on me, the plate carrier. And then also for the RECON division, I have to run 3 kilometers after each stage. Of course, with all of the gear. That means that we have 10 stages altogether. That's 30 kilometers of running. I fucking hate running. I'm not good at running. I'm good at sprinting, explosive power, doing good on stages, but this will be a suffering for me. Of course, because of this kind of division, I also try to adjust my gear differently. And let's go through all of it and see why I chose it. Let's start with the one that probably interests you the most, with the rifle. I'm running the Žiga 102. So this is a civilian version of the AK 102. It's chambered in 5.56, and I opted for this rifle because of two reasons. First one is I wanted to go with an AK because Ian did a video with my AK and he was bashing it, and now I want to win, or at least not win, maybe just be better than him with an AK, so I can rub that in his face. So it has to be an AK. I was thinking about the AK-SU. The problem is that ammo is really hard to get, and the AK-SU has a very short barrel, bad ballistics, and at least mine is very inaccurate. So this one was the best choice. 5.56, it's flat shooting, almost no recoil, it's light, but I had to do some modifications to it to work for me better. I wanted some better ergonomics and make the rifle a bit more adjustable. So I had some parts laying around from SEG. It's a Russian company. I think it's Sure Shot Armament Group. They make really good accessories for AKs, but you cannot get them anymore because of the whole Russia-Ukraine thing, right? I got these parts for some testing. We wanted to adapt them for the Yugo rifles, but that was not possible. So these were just sitting in my closet for a couple of years, and I figured that I can adapt them to this rifle. The buttstock accepts standard stocks for ARs. I think this is a mil-spec tube. It's quite light, and it features QD attachments for the slings, which I also think it's important. For the pistol grip, I used a DLG pistol grip. It's nothing special, it's just plastic, nothing fancy. But what I like about it is that it's thick. So I have a lot of space to grip it, and I can manipulate the rifle with only one hand. That's very important. Then with the selector, I had to go with AK Master Mount selector. They made these in the past. We were actually selling them in the store. I'm not sure if they are making them still, but essentially it has a ledge here, so you can manipulate it with your trigger finger. It's very fast, it's very easy, and this is essential for all of these stages, because where you're shooting and you have to move from stage to stage, you'll have to engage the safety. And if you can engage the safety quickly, like this, really helps out with the time. For the trigger, this is my modified ALG trigger. This actually comes from my Zastava rifle. I just replaced it because AK triggers are almost the same in AK type rifles. And the thing is that it does not feel like standard AK trigger, because it has this wall. Okay. It has this wall where it does not move anymore, but when you apply pressure, it just breaks. And if you see here, it has almost no over travel. I will do a reset now. So it's very short, it's very crisp, it's not that light, but I don't like a light trigger. I want the trigger where I know where it breaks. and this one gives me all the control on this rifle. For the optics, I wanted to go with something light. There will be very challenging targets on this competition this year, but I did a bold move and said that I will not take a magnifier, because if I would have the magnifier, I would have to run 30 kilometers also with it. And you know, like, it's not that heavy, but just every kilometer, every gram counts. So what I chose is the Texas Weapon Systems. I think this is the BDM mount. It replaces the rear sight, and you can mount directly on it. So this is a Holosun 503. It has the solar backup, really crisp dot. I'm not yet sure if I will be using the dot and the circle around it, probably just dot. But for close range targets, that reticle could also be very fast. For the front handguard, I went again with the SAG, so the Sure Shot Armament Group. It's kinda free floating, so it attaches here on the barrel and clamps to the gas tube. It's very solid, but it took a lot of filing and adjusting to make it fit. It's not that heavy. At least it gives me some options to attach for the QD sling, and these are just the slate black covers. If the rifle becomes hot, I can still hold it here. This is a standard muzzle device. At first I was thinking about bringing a suppressor with me, but it would be additional weight, and I said it's not worth it. The sling is the MD Textile sling, made in Germany. It's heavy duty, but really comfortable, very useful. It's pink also, that helps with the speed. But I really use it because it's so good. Now for the plate carrier, I'm running the Core Performance plate carrier. It's a very quality made plate carrier. I added a couple of stuff to it that I need. These are Templar's Gear pouches. These are actually the old Hussar accessory pouches, and I have the bladder and kind of rucksack at the back to keep all of the necessary gear for the armor division. Regarding the plate carrier itself, it has an option to run their special ice plate, which is kind of a plastic plate that you can fill with water and you can chill down. So it can act kind of as a heat sink to cool you down, and you can also use it as a hydration bladder. But just using it on the runs and training with it, I found out that it doesn't work for me. When you're running with a plate carrier, everything that's extra on it, everything that adds weight, it destroys you. Not at first, but after 3 kilometers, you know, even a small thing, just a seam or something out of place will just push on your body and rub, and it's just like a terrible feeling. So I decided to not use that plate. I have just a normal hydration bladder in the back, and it's not fully filled. The Core Performance plate carrier comes with these breathable pads on the shoulders and in front and the back. And also the cummerbund is elastic. That means that I can cinch it down and I can still breathe normally. But I found out that for running, I cannot have it fully enclosed. I have to spread out the cummerbunds, so there's some extra place here. And when I'm running, I'm actually using my hands here to push the plate carrier down, because otherwise with each and every step it just jumps. And this is not just this plate carrier, this is any plate carrier. If you ever tried running with a plate carrier, you will see with any weight it's brutal. For the belt setup, I'm using the standard belt that I'm always using from MD Textile. It's the outer and inner belt setup, so it doesn't move too much. But I have the minimalistic setup, so only the holster, the medical pouch, and then here only one pouch for the rifle magazine and 2 pouches for the pistol magazine. I have the Battle Known Solutions Level 2 retention holster. Why? Because if you lose a handgun during this competition, it's an automatic DQ. Also with their system, It's very fast and I can use it together with the optics. And it also has passive retention. So it's a really quality made holster. And I also went with the quick detach buckle, because I'm not sure yet if I will be running with the pistol on my side or I will put it in the backpack. But it gives me the option. For the handgun, I went with Arex Delta X. So this is the small slide version with a bigger grip. It's a very light handgun. It's a very accurate handgun. I'm very good with it. And this year I'm also running an optic. At first I had the Primary Arms Holosun ACSS reticle here, but that red dot had an open emitter. And usually I don't have problem with open emitters unless I'm going to brutality match. Now this year the weather is better, but if it turns towards, if it starts to rain, if only a speck of dust or one raindrop comes into the emitter, you cannot see the dot anymore. I didn't want to take any chances, so I went with the Holosun EPS. It's an enclosed dot. It looks similar to the 509, but it's a bit smaller. It's not as tall, it's a bit lighter, but still gives you a very nice side picture. One thing that I noticed just before flying to Finland is that the screws were a bit loose. So I used Loctite, a lot of force, and I'm just hoping that they stay put for the whole competition. A week before the competition, I also received a small gift from Arex. They knew that I was coming here, and they sent me this aluminum trigger for the Delta. I think this is kind of prototype still, but it will be soon available for purchase, and it replaces the plastic trigger on the Arex Delta. I have very limited trigger time with this. I will be testing it here in Finnish Brutality. Hopefully it works, but it gives you a better feeling on the trigger and it's smooth. So now I have no excuses if I miss my pistol stages. So really I'm trying to reduce weight wherever possible. Even with my clothing of choice. This year is the first time I didn't go with Vorosteleka clothing, because their clothing is very quality made, but it's also very thick and heavy. And what I'm trying now is just having this Helicontex pants. They are very thin, very light, and this Helicontex upper, which again is also very thin, breathable, light. For the running part, I bought these Adidas hiking shoes. They still qualify for the armor division. They are stiff, they protect your ankle. I can use them in the terrain, but also they're kind of built like a running shoe. So they have more movement and they are softer. And I also got half a size bigger than I usually use. And with this combination, I was training for all of my runs, and hopefully it works here also. So the goal here is trying not to get blisters and trying to not damage my knees or joints over the next 30 kilometers. Because if I get injured, I cannot finish the competition and that would really suck. So this is my setup for the Finnish Brutality 2022. Thank you for watching and see you soon.